Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite DraftKings plays and a couple of my favorite prize picks for tonight's 5-game slate in the NHL. Let's get right into it. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do, highlighting the 5 games we have in the NHL tonight, showing you the money lines and over-unders. We got the Sabres taking on the Canadiens, Flyers at Blackhawks, Maple Leafs at Coyotes, Bruins at Oilers, and the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Anaheim Ducks. And then here's a midweek schedule update, NHL DFS video here today and tomorrow. Also going to be talking about that 3-game slate in my Discord on Friday. If you have not joined my Discord yet, it is completely free to do so. There's a link to join in the description below on this video. If you can't find that, just leave me a comment and I'm happy to send you an invite there. With all that said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. And even though it's just a 5-game slate, there's a few different stacking options that I actually like. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be super popular here against the Arizona Coyotes. Their power play's been hot as of late. I also like the Buffalo Sabres as well. But on the other side of that game between Buffalo and Montreal, I like this first line here for the Canadiens. Suzuki centering Caulfield and Slavkovsky. I really like this game in general, as I just kind of talked about. But these three have really found their chemistry together as of late, combining for 18 goals, 22 assists, 40 points in their last 10 games, and I love the correlation you get with these three as well, all playing up on the Habs' #1 power play. And then another line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the Anaheim Ducks. We got McTavish centering Vetrano and Terry. You could argue this is their first line as well, but these three have combined for 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points in their last 10 games, and I love the upside they offer here tonight at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. You get strong correlation from these three, all playing up on the Ducks' #1 power play, and this Blue Jackets team is one of the worst in the NHL. They allow 3.70 goals per game, the second most in the NHL, while having the 7th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 76% rate. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We're trying to build this brand here at Slydog Sports, and every like, comment, and sub truly helps us out. Alrighty then, let's get into the forwards that I like here for tonight. We're going to start at the top with Austin Matthews. Like I mentioned earlier, this power play right now for the Maple Leafs is hot. They've scored at a 50% rate here in their last 5 games, and that's something to target against this Coyotes team, one that averages 3.84 penalties per game, the 4th most in the NHL. Now Matthews has just been on a tear as of late, 12 goals, 6 assists, 41 shots on net, averaging 22.5 DraftKings points per game, playing up on the first line and #1 power play. Now I like the Philadelphia Flyers here tonight against Chicago as well. You can see I'm highlighting 2 different guys, Owen Tippett and Morgan Frost. You're going to see both those guys play up on the Flyers' #1 power play. Tippett is more of a natural shooter. This guy loves to rip the puck. 49 shots on net here in his last 10 games, led to 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points, averaging 16.1 DraftKings points per game. Now Morgan Frost himself, more of a playmaker, but he has started to play well here over the last month. He's got 2 goals, 5 assists, 20 shots on net here in his last 10, averaging close to 9 DraftKings points per game, but he's definitely someone who can hit 3x value at this price. Like I said, an overall good matchup here against Chicago, a team that allows 3.54 goals per game this year, the 4th most in the NHL, while having the 9th worst penalty kill, hitting at a 77.5% rate. Now you'll see Tippett up on the first line and Frost centering that second line. Kind of going back to this game here between the Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo, I do like that first line with Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, and Jeff Skinner, but I also like the way that Dylan Cousins has been playing as of late. 4 goals, 7 assists, 31 shots on net in his last 10, averaging 13 DraftKings points per game. This Montreal team is definitely one to target. They've allowed 3.53 goals per game this year, the 5th most in the NHL, while having the 2nd worst penalty kill, hitting at a 74% rate. And then one more 4K forward play there in Veronikov of the Columbus Blue Jackets. This guy's a pure shooter, goal scorer for this team. He's right at $4,000 tonight. He's got 7 goals here in his last 11 games with 34 shots on net, averaging close to 13 DraftKings points per game, playing on their second line and #2 power play. Now moving on to the defensemen, and this is definitely a slate where I would prefer to spend up for defensemen overall, but there is some decent value out there as well. One guy that I would be willing to spend up for is Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres, a very well-rounded D-man. He's got 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points here in his last 10 games, 30 38 shots on net and 22 block shots, averaging 14 DraftKings points per game. He's really an easy stack with that Sabres #1 power play against this Montreal team that averages 3.73 penalties per game, and this guy logs close to 30 minutes a night. Ice time will definitely not be an issue. I'd also be willing to spend up for Zach Werenski, and if you're really targeting him, it makes sense to play him with that Columbus Blue Jackets #1 power play, but I think he's fine as a one-off as well. He's got 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points here in his last 10, 37 shots on net, 19 block shots, averaging close to 14 DraftKings points per game. But the reason I mentioned the Blue Jackets power play is because this Anaheim team averages 4.5 penalties per game, the most in the NHL. Werenski, though, just like Dahlin, ice time won't be an issue. He should play around 24 minutes tonight, up on the #1 power play and the penalty kill. And then if you're looking to save some money at the defenseman position here tonight, I got two guys that are offering some nice value. First being Timothy Liljegren of the Toronto Maple Leafs. No goals here, but 5 assists in his last 10. Would really like him to start shooting the puck more, but he is playing up on the Maple Leafs #1 power play, and that's really the intrigue here because, again, they've scored at a 50% rate here in their last 5 games, and this Arizona team is not afraid to take penalties. We should see Liljegren play around 23 minutes here tonight, and not only on that #1 power play, but also the Maple Leafs penalty kill. And then another guy here offering some nice value in the low 3K range is Henri Jokiharju of the Buffalo Sabres. 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points in his last 10, has 17 shots on net as well as 16 block shots, averaging close to 7.5 DraftKings points per game, playing around 20 minutes a night on the Sabres #2 power play and their penalty kill. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here, but I can't say I'm in love with the goalie options tonight. I think this could be a really high-scoring slate in general, but as always, I'm going to highlight two. If I'm looking to spend up here tonight, I certainly don't mind Ilya Samsonov of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He started off the season really shaky, but has played well here as of late. In his last 8 games, he's 7-1-0 with a save percentage of .921, goals allowed average of 1.99, averaging 15 DraftKings points per game, and the Maple Leafs are road favorites right now and actually playing some decent hockey. And then if I'm looking to save money here tonight, Peter Mrazek sticks out to me for the Chicago Blackhawks. I know I highlighted some flyers earlier, and I do think they're offering some nice value, but if I'm looking at this slate overall, especially if I'm looking to spend down for a goalie, I think he offers the most upside for a guy priced in the low 7K range. More of a GPP play or tournament play, but I think he's cash game viable as well. You can see here he's averaging close to 16 DraftKings points per game over his last 10. And as always, going to wrap up the DraftKings plays here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays, and I actually like the value in the 3K range here tonight. Starting with Corey Perry of the Edmonton Oilers, priced at $3,600. Honestly, all I need to really say here is he's playing on that first line with Draisaitl and McDavid. That in itself should be enough to roster this guy, but he's also getting time on that #2 power play. Ryan Strome's up on the first line in #2 power play for Anaheim right now, priced at $3,600. He's actually played really well here as of late. And then followed up with Matthew Nyes, playing up on that first line with Matthews and Marner. Again, just like the Perry situation, when you're playing with those talented forwards, it's hard to ignore you at this price here in the mid 3K range, and you're also going to see him play on the #2 power play. And then to wrap up this video here, let's talk a little prize picks. We ended up going 3-0 last night with the bonus pick in Nathan McKinnon. If you have not joined my Discord yet or you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you go do that where I will be posting those bonus picks. But I got 2 picks again here tonight. First being Jeff Skinner. We're going to take the over on 0.5 point. He hasn't played super great here as of late, just 3 points in his last 10 games. But he's got 34 points on the season in 47 games, and he's played very well against Montreal in general. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, and 3 games against them this season, and we're going to see him play up on that first line in #1 power play tonight. We're also going to take the over on Mason McTavish at 0.5 point. He's played well this year with 36 points in 47 games. He's got 9 points here in his last 10, and I love this matchup at home against Columbus, who have not only been one of the worst teams in the NHL this year, but they're also playing on back-to-back nights on the road. We're going to see McTavish play on the second line and up on the #1 power play. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 5-game slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.